The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a fantastic episode for us today, but first and foremost, I do have to we got two new sponsors to the show here, and the first one is Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of the supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. I've been using these products for a little over a month. They are phenomenal. My beard has never felt softer. It has never been growing this fast, and it is as healthy as it has been in my 35 years on this earth. And if you use the promo code BONO15, he's going to give you 15% off. And we are also bringing back another sponsor of the show in Sweet Hand Sports. Elevate your game with Sweet Hand Sports. Our gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hand Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and you will get 10% off. I'm wearing the Sweet Hand Sports hat. This is from Matt Landowski, former guest of the show. These products are phenomenal. He's actually even started golf gloves new to Sweet Hand Sports. Instead of just batting gloves, they are now golf gloves. I can't wait to try mine out. It's on its way. I'm super pumped about it. Check them out. Again, Bono15. Save yourself 10%. That being said, this week's show, we are going to be diving into everything movies. This is a movie roundtable, and I have a ragtag group of guests to help me get through this. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Guys, when you introduce yourselves, say your name, where you're from, and I just need a yes or no to this question, and it's, are aliens real? We're going to start with a staple of the roundtable, it seems like, the vampire coach himself, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Askew, a.k.a. Vampire Coach. Are aliens real? Yes, I see them every day.
Where are you from, mister?
I'm from the Nasty Natty, a.k.a. Cincinnati, BKA, as I just said, the Nasty Natty, baby. Home of the babies.
All right. Next up, JJ.
I'm JJ Phillips. I live in Austintown, Ohio. And yes, aliens are real. No doubt.
All right. And we got the GOAT himself, Mike.
Hello, Bono. Mike Worrell here. Originally from Ohio. I've lived in several places. I'm currently sitting in Jacksonville, Illinois right now. I'm not really sure about the alien question, but when I come to a conclusion, I will text Spitty either late tonight or early in the morning.
All right.
Yes.
All right. And rounding out this group, we got Jordan.
What's up? I'm Jordan Wetson. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and yes, aliens are real.
All right, that is going to do it for our panelists. We got a great one, and yeah, Betty came up with that aliens questions for the intro there. I'll answer it too. I think they're real. I look for them all the time. I'm constantly looking at the sky. So that being said, we're going to dive right into this. It's a movie roundtable. We're going to talk all things movie. Jordan, that you seem to be new to the roundtables here and new to the show. We're going to start with you. And what is your favorite movie of all time? It can just be one, though.
It can only be one.
Only one.
Dumb and Dumber.
Good choice. That's a
Dumb and Dumber. So, real quick story. I was flying to Birmingham, Alabama on Delta. Did not have headphones. And Dumb and Dumber was one of the movies that was on the in-flight menu. Didn't need the subtitles. Didn't need the headphones. I knew every line that was coming, every joke, and laughed like I was just watching it on normal volume. So it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's the one I seem to go to the most. It's the one I quote the most. So Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that seems to be a staple for me. I could quote that movie from start to finish. I've seen it so many times. I definitely get that. That's a solid start to this. But JJ, let's go to you.
Well, anybody who knows me knows I'm a horror movie crazy guy. So my favorite movie of all time is, of course, the original Halloween, John Carpenter's. I mean, there's just no better movie than that right there. I mean, all the quotable lines. I mean, it's just a classic. Even though you see the screwdriver in his hand when he breaks the window, it's just a great movie.
That's, again, solid choice. Mister, what about you? Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, man. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? Scarface, baby.
Oh man.
My man, Scarface. That's another solid choice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mike, round us out here.
I'm kind of weird when it comes to rating movies, Bono. And I categorize them so I have a favorite horror movie, comedy, action, documentary, true movie. And I'm older than all you guys, so my movies are gonna, predate a lot of you guys on this. And I'm gonna give you a comedy one. Animal House, 1978.
Animal
Oh yeah.
That is a solid choice. That's up there for me as one of my favorites, mainly because I found out way later in life when I was at Bethany College. Oddly enough, Mike, since you worked there, and Mister, you too, that movie was actually made about my fraternity that I was in.
Really?
And
okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I had no idea. We're not like that now, but apparently back then we were. Because if you watch when the car comes through the wall at the very end for the parade scene, if you look, you will see Delta Tau Delta on it, which is my fraternity. And it's real quick. You got to be looking for it. I never paid attention because they have their letters from the movie. They had to change it, obviously. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's instantly up there. But I got to agree with Jordan. Dumb and Dumber, it's a hard one for me not to pick. It was a toss-up between that and Tommy Boy for me. Mm-hmm. And I'll say it because I could hear her in the background, my wife. I'll tell you hers. We watch it all the time, and it's The Wizard of Oz. That is another one. It's up there here in the Bono family, especially around Christmas time. We're always watching The Wizard of Oz. We have a whole room in our house that is dedicated to The Wizard of Oz. And all of her collectibles. She has a ton of stuff, and it's everything from it. So, yeah, The Wizard of Oz is up there for me, but Dumb and Dumber definitely takes the cake. And it is one of the movies, like I said, I could quote it from start to finish. without sound or anything, and I would be spot on with the jokes and everything like that. But Jordan, we're going to go back to you for the second question here. What is the best movie series in your opinion? And it has to be a series that has at least 2 movies or more.
2 movies or more. Can I throw in an honorable mention? 2 honorable mentions?
100%.
Is that cool? Go ahead. So I would go the Godfather 1 and 2. Admittedly, I have not seen the third one. To circle back to Scarface, I feel like every movie Al Pacino has done post Scarface, he's been Tony Montana. He seems to always have that same. He's become that character actor. So honorable mention Godfather, honorable mention Star Wars, especially the original trilogy. For me, Lord of the Rings cannot be beat. I know it's based on the book, and there's a lot of source material there to go off of. But I think what Peter Jackson did with the movies, from the Fellowship of all the way through Return of the King and the awards, they speak for themselves. So yeah, I think that Lord of the Rings has been like my top series or franchise of movies.
It's not a bad one. I'm not mad at that. I like the Lord of the Rings. It's definitely in my top 10.
It's not for everybody.
It's just they're long. They're very long movies.
They are long.
Yeah.
That's what does it for me. It's just the sheer length of it.
So which one you like better, Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit?
I like Lord of the Rings better. I think that The Hobbit, The Hobbit had really leaned into like CGI,
right?
The practical use of makeup and the way that they shot Lord of the Rings. It's better. And then The Hobbit added a bunch of characters it didn't need to add. It added extra plot points. It added a love story that it didn't need to add. I think that, and I don't know how much of that was studio interference or how much of that was, Peter Jackson. I want to say that it was studio interference, that, hey, we need an elf to fall in love with a dwarf, and we need 3 movies that's based on 1 book. So yeah, I don't think they're bad movies by any means, but like the use of CGI for the orcs, and then the one orc looking like Kratos from God of War. It was just like, it's.
Jordan has dissected this so much. He's in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But JJ, what about you? Best movie series in your opinion?
Oh, this is tough, man. I got a few that I like, but number 1, I'm gonna go with the Rocky series, going into the Creed series. That whole legacy. I mean, it doesn't get any better cinema than that. I mean, it starts out with, of course, Rocky 5 we can throw in the dumpster, but Rocky 1,
100%.
2, 3, 4, Rocky Balboa, going into Creed 1, 2, Creed 3 is kind of iffy, but there's just a great set of movies. And then, of course, all the Halloween movies. I mean, the original timeline movies, the H2O timeline movies, and then this new timeline of movies. I mean, they're all just been great.
Yeah, and I'm kind of mad you took mine with Rocky. That's definitely mine. We just did the show. It is coming. Well, by the time this airs, it'll already be aired. But we just recorded the Rocky movie series roundtable. Which
it stood the test of time. I mean, that first movie was like, I forget, 70 something or 80? But I mean,
80.
It's 80. So, and now it's freaking 2023, 2024, you know what I'm saying? And it's still going. It's crazy.
I still watch them like I've never seen them. Like when
you don't know the outcome.
Yeah, when there's a Rocky marathon on, my wife's like, "All right, we got to shut it down. Mike's not doing anything today. He's watching."
Yeah, it's over. Like you'll be flicking through the channels, then you'll see it's on, and then you're like, "Oh, the other one's coming. You're stuck. It's over.
Game
stuck
over.
For the day.
Game.
It's
the
over.
The day's a wash. We're just we're out this day out. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not watching Rocky. All right, Mister. What about you? Best movie series?
Man, I tell you what, 01 for me, man, it's like a comedy one, man. It's Pink Panther. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one, but if you go back, old timer might appreciate that one. But I love watching the Pink Panther Strikes Again, the Revenge of the Pink Panther, the Son of the Pink Panther. It just goes on and on, man. So that one really do it for me. And then I don't think you can go wrong with the Aliens, the Predator, and of course the Godfather, man.
Yeah, those were all solid choices. But Pink Panther, I was not expecting that out of that and anyone really. But that's a good choice too. I love movies so much. The
original Pink Panther.
Yes, sir.
The original, yeah.
Yes, sir. All those original ones from the 1960s to the 70s and to the late 80, 84 or something. Yeah, those are. I watch those, man, all day long.
All right, Mike, you're up. What about you? Best movie series?
Well, again, I'm probably breaking the rules, Bono, but I haven't.
Oh, Mike.
It's hard for me. I'm in categories again. Like serious movies, getting down to it. The Godfather.
Yeah.
And off that subject, one of the best miniseries I've ever seen is on Paramount called The Offer.
Yeah.
That was about the making of The Godfather. And that was tremendous behind the scenes making of the first Godfather movie. Unbelievable. So I have the Godfather trilogy. Comedies, I have a tie. Frank Drebin and Naked Guns. And the Hangover 3 movies. So I got Naked Gun and Hangover, and my 3 with Leslie Chow and they have 3 movies. Then I also have a horror movie. I've always loved Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm a Freddy Krueger guy.
Classic. Yes. Yes.
I knew JJ was going to get excited about that last one there.
Yes.
But yeah,
that's great.
I want to start calling you old PR Mike because you just give like the public relations answer every time. Like I
don't know what that means.
Oh man.
Oh, the GOAT strikes again. Oh, Mike, we love having you on. I love your answers every time, and I know it's going to be that every time, and I love it. I can't wait for them every time. But those are all solid choices. Like I said, Rocky's definitely got to be it for me with that one. But The Hangover, that's up there for me too as well. I just watched all 3 of those a couple weekends ago, so they were on TV, and I can't not watch them when they're on. It's like Rocky. Jordan, all right, let's go back to you here. And where does Tom Hanks rank as an actor in all time, in your opinion?
Like, I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't seen enough of Tom Hanks' work, like from like start to finish. I know he's got some real great ones up there. I think probably top 10. Top 10 is probably a good spot for him. I feel like it's a cheap answer. I feel like it's generic, but I'll put Tom Hanks in the top 10. I think there are certainly better actors than him, but his career has gone and lasted so long, and like longevity is so important, especially in Hollywood, because so many guys they burn bright, or so many actors and actresses they'll burn bright and then they burn out.
Right.
They just kind of fall off. Like, Nick Cage, not to bring him into this, but Nick Cage is a quantity over quality guy. He's in every movie, like the SNL sketch where Andy Samberg played him, and but like Tom Hanks, it's rare that I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say Tom Hanks has done like, oh, this movie was really bad. That Tom Hanks movie was not good. So top 10. I'd say Tom Hanks top 10. I mean, certainly he's probably more up there with guys who are still doing it, like living actors. I'd probably, maybe top 5 living actors, but top 10 all time.
Yeah, I think that's a fair place for him, honestly. Top 10. But JJ, what about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Probably in the top 10 all time. I'm thinking more 5 to 10 range. And he has solid movie after solid movie after solid movie. And it seems like he picks his roles, like he's very particular about what he does also. So he's not just splattered everywhere in all different type of movies. He picks roles that he wants to do and likes. He has a large variety and different range of his acting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's in that 5 to 10 range. Yeah, that's that's good. But he doesn't make a bad movie. Like no. Jordan said, you don't see even like, oh, Tom Hanks in that movie. That was garbage. Like, no.
I mean, he picks his movies well, scripts. It seems like he's very particular about what he does.
Absolutely. Mister, what about you?
Man, I tell you what, I'm gonna say he's top 37.
37.
Top 37. Top 37.
Top 37. That is a very specific number. Top 37.
So you have him at 37 then?
So is he number 37 on that list? Like, that's a very wide range, mister. Like, what are we talking now? Like,
he between 25 and 37.
Okay. Okay.
Mike, what about you?
I'm going to agree with almost everybody, top 5 to 10. And you're all too young. In college, he came out with a big blockbuster comedy where he doesn't resemble any of his other movies, Bachelor Party. I don't know if any. Then he turned into a more serious actor after that. I don't know if this is a future question, Bono, but my 2 favorite movies of his maybe correspond. They're based on true stories: Apollo 13 and Catch Me If You Can. My 2 favorite. He didn't get Oscars for those, I don't think, but those are 2 of my favorite based on true stories.
No, I definitely think he got snubbed for those 2 movies because those were phenomenal movies and more serious roles too, and especially it's about true events and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But that leads us into this question here, Jordan. Who are your top 5 actors all time?
Oh gosh,
man.
We asked the tough questions here on Ride Home Rants.
That's tough. Like no softballs. No, where's your favorite place to eat?
No. We're getting to the meat and potatoes of it here now.
Meat and potatoes, man. I think that you have to, pay homage to some of the all-time greats. Like in no particular order, I think De Niro's up there for me. I think Denzel is definitely up there as one of the all-time greats. And of course, like now I'm starting to draw a blank because like I got my mind like I'm like I don't want to say the wrong one, but it's all opinion based. So you got Denzel. How do you not say Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
How do you not put Marlon Brando up there? So that's 3. I think you gotta. Despite everything I said about Al Pacino earlier, Al Pacino is going to be up there. That's 4. Just when you look and then you just look at his work and just how, like, again, longevity. He's had some stinkers in there, but he's a really good career. And then I think, the 5th one, I might have to just turn around and just say Tom Hanks, even though I put him in the top 10. Maybe it isn't that 5 to 10 range. Hanks is when you shake it down. Saving Private Ryan, also another movie based off true, D-Day, and going through the war in Europe, and that movie is spectacular. It's it's great, and the cinematography is excellent. You know what, DiCaprio. DiCaprio is really good. I would put Leo in there. I'd put Leo at 5. I think even though he doesn't have the Oscars to back it up, I think Leo has been in a lot of great movies that have been very deserving of recognition and the awards that just haven't come to him.
I don't even really go off of the awards when it comes to that because I think that that's all popularity contest in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because how do you snub like half the movies that?
Well, and how can I forget? How can I forget Daniel Day-Lewis? That's another one. So like the more you sit and think about it, you're like, oh, I could swap him out for him, right?
All right, well, we're locking in your 5.
They're locked in. They're locked in.
We're not flip-flopping.
Final answer.
Final answer. All right. JJ, what about you?
My 5, no particular order. Sylvester Stallone, Denzel, Will Smith, Keanu Reeves. Throw him up in there. Ooh. And then just because I'm a horror movie guy, the Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a solid top 5. Mister, what about you?
Samuel L. Jackson, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Millie, the old girl from Resident Evil.
Okay.
I got you. I can never pronounce
Yeah,
it.
Millie Jovovich. I think that's how you pronounce the name.
Yeah, close enough.
And, yeah, there we go. There you go. And and Reeves.
Keanu.
Matrix.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Mike. I'm going to hold you to an answer. Top 5 here now.
Mine's going to be a little different.
All right.
I'm older than everybody on this panel. I'll go number 1, the former mayor of Carmel, California, Clint Eastwood. I grew up with Clint. I'm a Clint guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, I got Tom Cruise. I feel he became a legend in Tropic Thunder. That put him up in the top 5 for me. 3, one of my all-time favorites, Gene Hackman. First saw him in the French Connection, but then he went on to, many others. 4, Remember the Titans. Put him over the edge in my top 10, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And I got a tie in 5th. It's a duo. You guys probably haven't seen them together, but they've been in maybe 3 movies or 4 together. Classic comedians together. Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Silver Spoon. Yeah, Silver Spoon. Movies in the mid-late 70s.
Yeah, solid choices. That's a tough one to pick. Yeah.
Fishburne, another one of mine, to Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, he's great.
Right.
Yeah, Lawrence. Yeah.
Surprised nobody said Kevin Hart.
I
I
wouldn't say top 5 for Kevin Hart.
No.
No, Kevin Hart's...
He's done everything lately. Like it seems like every movie is Kevin Hart.
He like him, The Rock, and Nick Cage. They're just like cornering the market to be in every movie ever made. It's just like, again, like they're not really worried about quality. It's just quantity, and it's almost like this. Hey, like I got bills to pay. So like,
I get it.
Does it have words? Does the script have words?
I'm in there. Yep.
Absolutely.
Hey, Eddie, they doing the Eddie Murphy style, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Norman.
Yeah. See, I would probably have Eddie's probably a 6, 5 to 6 for me up there.
28 hours, baby.
Yeah, but this one I'm really interested in hearing this from you here, Jordan. Who has the greatest action movie actor of all time?
Who has the greatest action?
Who has been the greatest action movie actor of all time?
So I mean, I don't know how you can't say Sly Stallone. Just based off, I mean, if you just take, I don't know if you really count Rocky as a action movie, but you obviously have Rambo, right? Mm-hmm. That whole franchise, and then you have the whole Expendables franchise, and those are really great. I think Tom Cruise also. I mean, Tom Cruise has been the action star of action stars for a long time, from Mission Impossible to doing his own stunts in several other movies. So yeah, I would say it's a toss up between Sly and Tom Cruise for me.
Yeah, it's a little different in mine, but old TC Tom Cruise is up there. I mean, like you said, all the Mission Impossibles, Top Gun. He's actually flying the planes, like he's actually a licensed pilot doing that while filming and saying lines in a fighter jet, like that. But Jason Statham is up there with me. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, dude just kicks a lot of ass in every movie he's in. So it's a toss up between those two for me. But JJ, what about you?
Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Keanu Reeves. I mean, he has the Matrix movies, and then there's other set of movies. I mean, where he's the hitman and all that, and it's just action packed. I mean, it's not like very believable, but I mean, they're very entertaining movies. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with him.
Okay. Mister, what about you?
I tell you what, I'm about to go with the former governor, man. Give me Arnold. Give me Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Give me the Terminator.
All right.
I'll be back.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Total Recall was a classic.
The Predator movie, is that action or is that horror? Where does that fall under?
I would say that's action, right?
I'd say that's action, but it can. I think it's kind of cross with action and horror.
Sci-fi. There we go.
You sci-fi.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. To you here.
I'll go with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, Top Guns, all those movies. And I did want to ask, I listed Gene Hackman up there. Did any of the younger guys on here, anybody even ever heard of Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hoosiers?
Okay.
Hoosiers, yeah.
Okay. I got Tom Cruise as the action figure, though.
We're not that young, Mike. Like, I mean,
timeless and timeless movies are timeless movies. Like I mean, look at Mike. Look at Mike and his family. I mean, they're watching a movie that came out about 50 years before you were born, or we were born, Mike, in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
it came out the 1930s. Now I was born in '89. So everybody's, a lot of people have seen that movie. So I think a good movie, just like good music, it supersedes age. It supersedes any era. If it's a good album, if it's a good movie, you're going to find it, and it's going to find you.
Absolutely. That's a solid way to do it, of putting that. And I actually did my entire senior project at Bethany on movies and like the graphics in movies. So I really dove into this for 3 to 4 weeks when I was at Bethany, and I just got immersed. And it didn't hurt that people would come in and I just have a movie on in my room, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Actually, I'm doing my senior project. I get to watch movies for my senior project, to watch the graphics and the animation and everything like that." So
that's the way to go.
Wasn't a bad gig. I couldn't complain about that. But Jordan, what is your favorite genre of movie?
Favorite genre? I gotta go comedy, man. I just think you can't be a good comedy movie. I think certain movies you have to be in a certain mood for, but with comedy you can just throw on something. You could just be at home, and The Hangover could be on TV, or you could go on a streaming service and you could be like, "Oh, here's Dumb and Dumber, here's Tommy Boy, here's Black Sheep, here's Liar Liar, here's any comedy that you grew up watching or that you loved." And it's anything Adam Sandler, almost anything Adam Sandler. You just see it and you're just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna sit here and watch it, and I'm gonna be engaged." There's some movies where, even though you've seen it, you're just not in the mood for all the exposition and all of the, And comedy movies tend to be pretty short, so it doesn't require a bunch of your, attention span. You can just sit down, you can watch a movie in 90 minutes, go about your day. Whereas if you're gonna watch, something else, you might be spending 2.5, 3 hours watching that movie, and you might miss plot points. If you get up, or God forbid you go and send a text or something, you're missing plot points. So comedy is, I think comedy is probably my favorite.
All right, JJ, what about you?
Horror films, definitely my favorite. I mean, there's just nothing like just a good horror film. I mean, of course, from Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, those classics, the big three. I mean, now the newer ones we got now, like that Smile series, is pretty good. I like that movie. And just, a horror movie is good that after you get done watching it, you got to throw on some cartoons or something before you go to bed, because you don't want to freak yourself out. So you watch the horror movie, then you throw on some cartoons or something so you can go to sleep.
100%. That's the make of a good horror movie, when you're putting on something stupid, something funny, cartoon, like you said, cartoons, just to get out of that mindset. I need to sleep tonight. I'm not gonna. Mister, what about you?
Oh man, give me that good science fiction, man, and a good western. Science fiction and western.
All right.
I'll go with those all day.
Mike, what about you?
My youngest daughter and I are huge horror film fans, and I also am into true movies that are suspenseful. I want to say based on facts. I'm a history guy, so like JFK. Next, I'm a history movies based on true stories. I'm also a Tarantino guy, like 5 or 6 of his Quentin Tarantino movies. I got to go with comedies, my number one. Those others are real close next to it, but I'll stick with comedy.
Yeah, I mean, shocker, the comedian here is going to pick comedy too. But it's I can't. You can't like you said, Jordan. It's hard to not watch it. It's like, who doesn't like to laugh? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's where I'm
at. There are so many comedy movies where no matter how many times you've seen it, the jokes still hit.
Yeah.
The part is still funny, where it's like, the one for me that still never fails to get a laugh is like in Dumb and Dumber when Lloyd gives Harry the laxative. He puts it in his, and he goes in the bathroom and he's making the faces and, all the sounds. And then she's like, I hope you're not using the bathroom. That toilet's broken. he's trying to flush it. And so there's just so many like parts like that in movies, especially comedy, where you're just like, man, that just never fails to not be funny. It's always funny to me.
Yeah, we just watched Liar Liar the other night, and I was cackling like it was the first time I watched it, and I was quoting it along with the movie too. Like that's the thing that I don't realize that I'm doing, but like I'm saying the line as Jim Carrey is delivering the line, and I'm still laughing like it's the first time I've heard it. So
the pen is blue.
Yeah,
the pen is blue.
But Jordan, what's the best sports movie of all time?
Ooh, best sports movie, man. I'm kind of partial to Friday Night Lights when it came out in 2004 or 5, somewhere in there. Really love that movie. As a kid, I loved the Mighty Ducks series, and I thought Angels in the Outfield was great. Hardball is another
Classic.
great movie. Hardball is such a great movie. So if I had to go sports movie, like if I'm leaning more on the serious side, it's a toss up between Hardball and Friday Night Lights, but I'm probably gonna pick Hardball over Friday Night Lights when it all comes down to it. So Hardball for me.
Okay, JJ, what about you?
It's tight because I'm like, is Rocky really a sports movie or is it a drama movie? So
no, it's a sports movie, man. It's centered around boxing. Yeah, it's centered around boxing. It blends genres, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
But it is at the end of the day, it's about it's about accomplishing a goal, competing at a high level. Yeah. So I say sports movie. I mean, so for whatever that's worth.
I'm going to go with Rocky 3. And then also my favorite football movie is The Program. That's my favorite football movie, classic. And then like Hardball is one of my favorites too. That's a great movie. So great movie. I gave you 3. I broke the rule.
Nah, you're all right. You're all right. Mister.
Hey, baby, The Program and The Last Boy Scout, man.
Oh, The Last Boy Scout.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Ain't life.
Phew. Mike, what about you?
I'm showing my age again, but I watched this last week. I have DVR from 1971. Not my favorite, but if you guys watch this, you want to watch it by yourself. You don't want anybody to see a grown man cry, but Brian saw him, about Brian Piccolo.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched that last week. That's probably my top 5. I want to say my top is a tie between Remember the Titans and Hoosiers are my top 2. If you were going to ask a comedy sports movie, I'll go with Major League.
Oh, yeah. Major League is up there for me. But Remember the Titans takes the cake for me. For that. Friday Night Lights, that's a solid choice, too. I mean, all those are solid, but, Remember the Titans, just that movie. That's the one movie that for sports movies, that's my go-to movie. So let's keep rolling here. All right, Jordan, what is one movie you recommend that everyone watches at least once?
One movie everyone needs to see at least once. Yeah, I gotta go Godfather 1 or Godfather 2. I just think that even though they're very long, that's just, to me, that was like classic cinema. Godfather 1, I think, is like the one, obviously the one that like brings you in. I can remember watching it on TV years ago for the first time. I think I was like a young adult, like 19, 18, 19, somewhere in there, and just watching it, just being like blown away by the cinematography, the acting. I mean, you obviously have Marlon Brando, a young Al Pacino. Her name's escaping me right now. Gosh, I can't remember her name, but I mean, just like the acting, the actors, Jimmy Cahn's in that, obviously, and the other, he's a great actor. His name's escaping me right now, and it'll come to me like at the worst time. But yeah, I just think that The Godfather is like a who's who of actors and directors, directing and writing and cinematography. That Godfather is like a classic for me that you have to see at least once.
All right, JJ, what about you?
I'm going to say Training Day, because it is like damn near a perfect movie from start to finish. I mean, just the plot, the story, Denzel's acting in that movie is just fucking spot on. It's great. I mean, yeah, Training Day is a movie I would recommend everybody to see.
All right, and did we lose Mister? I don't know. I don't see him. I think we lost Mister here. So, yeah, wonderful technology with Zoom. So, Mike, we're gonna go to you.
Again, I got a tie here. Being a history major, Bono, I would highly recommend JFK and Nixon, both Oliver Stone directed movies. Learn a lot of history from like 1958 to 1974, 75 in those two movies.
All right. I'll go here too as well. And this is a tough one for me. But Saving Private Ryan has got to be that one movie that I think everyone needs to watch at least once. You know what I mean? And it's, again, like you were saying, I don't think anybody wants to see a grown man cry, but, it gets you every time. It's like that movie I put on. It's like, you know what? I need a good cry and a good history lesson today. So let's knock them both out in one. And so I always put on Saving Private Ryan. So that's my movie there. But Jordan, with all the streaming services that are out there, is there still going to be movie theaters and drive-ins something to do? Is that still a thing to do, or is everyone just waiting for the streaming services?
I don't know how much. I'm not super connected with everybody else in the outside world, but going to the movie theater is still something that I enjoy. I think the one thing that really knocked movie theaters back, of course, is the pandemic, right? That's where we kind of really got this whole streaming, like direct on streaming. I think studios have done a pretty terrible job of promoting their movies. Promotion seems all but gone. I can't tell you, like, the last time I watched TV, I actually sat down and watched TV and saw a trailer for a movie that was actually going to be in the theaters. Another thing, too, that theaters need to work on is making the snacks more affordable. I think like that's a big thing, is that, like, hey, when I come in to the movie theater and I want to get popcorn and I want to get some candy and I want to get a soda, like, I don't want to have to spend $30 to $40 to get all of that, plus the price of admission. So I think movie theaters and drive-ins, they need to get a little more creative with how they're going to promote themselves. Studios need to get a little bit creative and bring back the way they promote things, posters, flyers, trailers. Lean into your digital platform a little bit more, your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever. I think they're always going to be here, And I think that it's up to us to kind of get the next generation to understand like the importance of going to the movies and being in cinema and experiencing a movie for the first time, whether it be in IMAX or on the big screen.
Yeah, that's a solid answer. JJ, what about you?
Yeah, I always prefer to go to the movie theater to see movies I like to see. I mean, it's just something about the experience. I mean, the XD and the surround sound, and there's nothing. I mean, it's one thing watching it at home and it's convenient, but you don't get that movie theater experience. Like the snacks, you know me, I'll go to the dollar store beforehand and load up on some snacks, and then I bring them in there, with me. But yeah, I mean, there's something about the nostalgia and just like there's nothing beats being in the theater actually seeing the movie. I mean, it's just streaming's cool for like after you already seen it and you want to watch it again. You know, you can pull it up, stream it, but watching it for the first time, streaming it's just not the same. Like during the pandemic, like they've released all the movies on the streaming sites, and it just wasn't the same. I don't know. Right. It's like it just wasn't the same feel.
And it feels like there are too many distractions at home, right? Like there's something going on. Like who's walking by my house? The dog's barking.
Right.
Oh, I got to get up. When you're in a movie theater, it's like you're hyper focused on what's going on the screen.
Yeah. And can you imagine? Like I'm a big superhero movie guy, so can you imagine watching Avengers Endgame at home when freaking Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, and you were watching that at home instead of the theater? Like the theater went crazy when that happened. When I was like, you don't get that at home. Like it's just different.
Nah, Mike, what about you with this question here?
I agree with everybody. It's more exciting, more entertaining to be there in person at the theater. I don't think they're going anywhere. The movie theaters. My wife and some friends go every Saturday morning, discounted. They go like 9 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They show the movies, and we have Tuesday nights here. It's $5 movie night. So, and she's an expert. Somebody mentioned she smuggles in her snacks in her purse.
Yeah,
and mixes it with the popcorn.
See,
she takes her candy in. Yeah,
you got to get that in. But see, with me, I'm a little torn on this. I like the movie theaters. I prefer drive-ins versus the movie theater. This is the worst reason possible. It's because I'm a smoker. So sitting through like Endgame, that's super long, interesting movie. I don't want to miss anything, but I want a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like so I can sit there in my car or on my tailgate of my truck and while I'm watching the movie and have a cigarette and enjoy it and not miss anything. That's the one thing I like about the streaming services, and especially watching them at home. But you guys are right. There's nothing beats going to the movies to see a movie. It's a whole event. It's almost a whole day's worth of trying to figure out everything and that it's involved. And then, like you said, the surround sound, it's just you can't beat going into the theater to see a movie.
And I think it's the nostalgia too. It's like after the movie, as a kid, we would go and we'd go get something to eat.
Right.
And the one thing home has beat on watching a movie in the theater is that you can press pause if you have to go to the bathroom. That's the one advantage of watching a movie at home. Other than that,
and I when I go to the movies, I have this thing where I can't even be late for the previews. I gotta get there before the previews start because I have to see all the previews.
And you gotta do the movie quiz while you're sitting there too. You gotta do the movie quizzes that pop up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we've got 2 more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up here. But Jordan, what is one movie you find to be the saddest movie you have ever watched?
All right, this is going to be borderline pathetic. The one movie I still to this day cannot sit through and watch without crying, like actually weeping tears. The Land Before Time. From a kid to an adult. I haven't watched it in about 7 years, or tried to watch it in about 7 years. But from as a kid to an adult, when I watch it, pretty much from the opening credits to the end, I'm just a mess. And I think that's just because that movie, as a kid, it traumatized you because what's every kid's biggest fear is losing a parent. at that age, and you watch it at the age of like 3 or 4, and like I was emotionally intelligent enough to know what was going on, and it scared me and it made me sad. And it's like the last time I tried to watch it, I'm like, I got to turn this off because I'm looking like a fool in front of my niece. My niece is gonna be mean about it. So, like, borderline pathetic answer probably is. But yeah, Land Before Time is just like a movie that just like makes me uncontrollably sad when I watch it.
Nah, no worries. JJ, what about you?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with Hardball. The way that movie ended with G Baby getting shot. I mean, every single time I see it, doesn't get any better for me. It's just terrible. I mean, whoever would have thought that movie was gonna end like that? And every time I see it, it just hits home. It's like hurts. Like, man.
And the eulogy too after.
Yes.
When he gets the call and he's at the church. He's giving the eulogy, and he talks about like when he lifts his arms up, it gets every time.
Yes, every time. I mean that's
a tough one. And welcome back, Mister. We lost you there for a second, but we're glad to have you back. But this question here is: what is one movie you find to be the saddest movie you have ever watched?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
yeah. All right, Mike. Yeah. What about you? Saddest movie?
I already mentioned it earlier. I didn't know it was going to come back to be asked again, but Brian saw him. Brian Piccolo, Neil Sayers, Chicago Bears.
Chicago, yeah.
It's hard. If I'm going to watch that, I'm watching that by myself. Nobody around, so nobody can see me crying like a baby. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I'll go with this one. And Jordan, kind of going along yours, it's kind of upsetting to miss, but The Fox and the Hound, keeping it old school.
Gosh.
Like, if you don't cry at that movie, you're a sociopath. There's no other way to say it. Like, that movie hits you right in the feels every time. But it was that one, and I don't know what it was, but like I watched Southpaw a couple of weeks ago, and that movie, I don't know what it was. It hit me right in the feelings, and I don't know why. Luckily, I was by myself. So yeah, But yeah,
one movie I watched recently that really got me as crazy as the Iron Claw movie. Like, that movie was crazy. Like, about the Von Erichs, the wrestling family. Yeah, that movie.
Yeah. The last one that I got that really got me, and I was with my cousins in the movie theaters. It was called Allied. The very end of that movie, I don't know. It made me so hooked. Like, again, just very like teary-eyed, and I was just like, I look stupid right now in front of my family, but they're just like looking at me, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man."
But all right, we're going to round it out this show with this question here. And what is the best movie Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, has ever done? Jordan.
Best movie The Rock has ever done. Was it Walking Tall? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Was the 2x4?
Yeah, the 2x4.
Yep.
Is it Walking Tall or Standing Tall? I think it's Walking Tall. That one, that's like the one where you're like, oh, The Rock is a good actor. Yeah.
Okay. JJ.
Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go him in the Fast and Furious movies. That's peak Rock for me. He's just basically playing himself. So I'll take that. I'll take it.
All right, Mister, what about you?
I tell you what, I go with two off movies. One of them, have you guys ever seen Faster?
No.
When you play Faster? Yeah, okay. If you ever get time, watch that movie. And then the other one is, man, I gotta go with, man, Black Adam.
Oh, man. Okay.
Solid choices there. Mike, what about you?
I'll agree with the remake of Walking Tall. The original came out, I want to say, in 74, 75 with Joe Don Baker.
Oh, yeah.
I thought The Rock was great. in the remake. And believe it or not, we were playing in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a long time ago, and ate at a place, and the guy that owned it was a sheriff. At one time, retired in Tennessee and knew the real Buford Pusser. And,
Oh, wow.
and said most of those stories, and at the time only the originals out, said most of those stories were true about Buford Pusser and all the stuff that happened in Tennessee. Yeah.
That one's up there for me, and this one's probably going to be weird for me, but it's Jumanji, the remake of Jumanji.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
just the subtle things that he does, where you could really see that he's a good actor. Like the one part where he just whispers himself, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry." Like you wouldn't think that'd be something you would hear come out of The Rock's mouth, and it just it shows his comedic side too as well. Central Intelligence is up there for me too as well.
That's pretty good.
But it's definitely the remake of Jumanji.
Nobody liked the Tooth Fairy movie.
It was all right. I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Oh man, I know. Hey, Bono, I got one for you though.
What's up?
When you asked the question, and ironically, the phone went out on me. All right, when you asked what one movie that everybody should see.
Yeah,
and that is Mississippi Burning.
Mississippi Burning.
Oh man,
that's
why Samuel L. Jackson, right? Yep.
Definitely a must see. But on that note, that is actually going to do it for this week's episode and the Movie Roundtable. I want to thank all of my guests, Jordan, Mike, JJ, and Mister, for coming on and sitting here and talking about movies for the better part of an hour here. This was, a really fun show. I love movies. I don't know anybody that doesn't, but thank you guys for coming on. We really do appreciate you sitting here and talking with us a little bit here about movies. But as always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.